dalam sehati sejiwa. Hari ini hari terakhir berlangsungnya mesyuarat Menteri-Menteri Luar ASEAN ke-48 di PWTC. Walaupun telah pun bermula dengan begitu baik sejak 1 hari bulan yang lalu, ada sedikit perubahan suasana yang dapat dirasai di sini pada pagi ini kerana selepas pengumuman tentang MH370 yang telah pun dilakukan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Najib, awal pagi tadi nampaknya sedikit sebanyak juga memberi kesan kepada semua yang terlibat dalam mesyuarat pada kali ini, sama ada pihak menteri, pegawai-pegawai kanan kerajaan-kerajaan negara anggota ASEAN dan rakan-rakan dialog, para petugas media dan semua yang berada di sini dapat merasai suasana yang sugul dalam kita mengenang kembali dan juga memperingati tragedi MH370 yang memberi kejutan bukan sahaja kepada negara tetapi juga kepada seluruh dunia. Malah insiden itu juga melibatkan kerjasama yang luar biasa daripada banyak pihak, banyak negara juga yang bertungkus lumus untuk meneruskan usaha untuk mencari dan juga menyelamat. Dan juga takziah kepada semua ahli keluarga mangsa tragedi MH370 dari kami di PWTC ini. Malah sesi mesyuarat pada hari ini juga akan dimulakan dengan memperingati dan juga bertafakur selama 1 minit untuk memperingati insiden tersebut. Dan ini juga merupakan satu titik tolak yang penting juga setelah sekian lama kita semua menantikan keputusan apakah status untuk pencarian MH370. Dan berbalik pula kepada apa yang berlaku dalam mesyuarat Menteri-Menteri Luar ASEAN ke-48, semalam telah pun berlangsung beberapa mesyuarat yang disifatkan juga penting. Yang pertama sekali adalah 8th Lower Mekong Initiative Ministerial Meeting yang melibatkan negara-negara Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam dan Amerika Syarikat. Kesemua negara di dalam daerah ini, di bahagian bawah ataupun selatan Sungai Mekong ini juga memerlukan perhatian khusus kerana di situ ada beberapa isu yang masih lagi dianggap perlu digembeling ataupun disegerakan. Ini termasuk dari sudut pendidikan, dari sudut pemakanan dan pertanian, keselamatan dan juga pembangunan ekonomi. Malah penglibatan Amerika Syarikat juga akan turut sama memastikan isu-isu ini dapat dibincangkan dan dapat diselaraskan dalam kalangan negara-negara di dalam mesyuarat LMI itu. Dan selain daripada itu juga telah pun berlangsung mesyuarat 2 hala antara Menteri Luar Cambodia dan Jepun yang membincangkan beberapa isu di antara hubungan 2 hala bagi negara-negara tersebut, dan juga mesyuarat Menteri Luar Singapura dan Kanada. Ini juga membincangkan hubungan di antara negara Singapura dan juga Kanada. Malah bukan itu sahaja, ia juga sikit sebanyak akan memberi kesan kepada rantau ASEAN sendiri kerana kita tahu apa yang berlaku dalam kalangan negara-negara anggota ini, baik dari sudut politik, baik sudut ekonomi, perdagangan mereka ataupun pembangunan sosio-budaya, sikit sebanyak juga akan melimpah ataupun turut memberi pengaruh kepada negara-negara jiran, hubungan dengan negara serantau dan juga polisi yang akan diteruskan, khususnya apabila kita semakin menghampiri komuniti ASEAN yang akan dilancarkan pada 31 Disember nanti. Dan pada hari terakhir ini juga kita akan sama-sama melihat kembali perjalanan mesyuarat Menteri-Menteri Luar ASEAN ke-48 dari hari pertama sehingga sekarang. Dan bersama saya ketika ini Tan Sri Dato Dr. Micheal Yeoh yang merupakan co-founder dan juga Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif ASEAN Strategik and Leadership Institute ataupun ASLI. Selamat pagi Tan Sri, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Now, in remembering the MH370 incidents, and we have also heard the announcement made by the Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister early this morning, how has, in your opinion, how has it affected the ASEAN community and also the involvement of so many nations, and how it will affect the relationships, especially in terms of diplomatic relationship among all the countries involved after this?
I think the announcement of the Prime Minister has brought some closure to the family and crew members, and I would like to extend my deepest condolences to those who have lost their loved ones on that fated flight. The announcement has brought to a close this tragic incident, but during that whole process it has shown very strong cooperation among the countries that are affected, in particular Malaysia, Australia and China. And going forward, I think there would be closer cooperation in such matters. What is important, I think there has to be some form of protocol on search and rescue missions and getting closer ASEAN cooperation when we are faced with such challenges again in the future.
Okay, that's right. And back to the 48th AMM, which is still here until today, and we are coming to an end. So, in your opinion, how would you describe the overall flow of the meetings and the outcomes?
I think the AMM has progressed very well. The atmosphere at last night's dinner hosted by the foreign minister was very light. That means that people were able to engage very openly, candidly, and the AMM has, I think, moved ASEAN forward in looking at the post-2015 agenda. ASEAN would be looking at the Agenda 2025, setting out the vision for ASEAN in the next 10 years. And the AMM has put together the main issues that needs to be brought up to the ASEAN Summit in November. This is sort of a preparatory meeting for the ASEAN Summit. And I think there have been very open, frank, candid discussions among the ASEAN countries and the ministers from the other countries involved in the ASEAN Regional Forum.
Yes, we see that focus has been put on irregular movement among ASEAN countries, and also we see the involvement of other countries outside of the ASEAN community, ASEAN society, in the meetings held this time around. So, how do you think this will affect the execution or the realization of the ASEAN community by the end of this year, since that we only have about five months to resolve this problem?
The movement of people is a very important issue, a very big challenge for ASEAN. There are two things here. One, there is the need for closer ASEAN people connectivity, because for ASEAN to become an integrated community, there needs to be closer people exchanges. And in this regard, we have seen the movement of professionals, skilled workers in many of the countries of ASEAN. So that is one part. The other part that is a bit more worrying is the movement of illegal immigrants and what is referred to as undocumented workers, as well as refugees. Those issues needs to be tackled more effectively, and I believe there has to be closer coordination among the ASEAN countries in resolving this issue of illegal immigrants.
And we see that this issue is not new. However, in terms of realization of the ASEAN community, there need to be some sort of integration, or maybe a more closer interaction among all of the members, all of the population of each ASEAN countries with each other. So how can we turn this issue into something positive that can enhance the execution of the ASEAN community, Tan Sri?
I think one of the big issues now is the Rohingyas.
Yes.
And I think the ASEAN countries needs to work out a plan of action and how to move forward with this challenge. The ASEAN countries need to also actively engage with Myanmar, the government of Myanmar, and how they're going to overcome this challenge. The big problem that ASEAN faces is that we work on the basis of non-interference in the affairs of member countries. So if we are going to engage Myanmar on this issue, we need to be aware of the fact that Myanmar, we say we are interfering in their internal affairs, but at the same time, because of the major drastic refugee flows that we are seeing, the Myanmar government needs to take action to address this issue internally.
Perhaps we can learn something from the MH370 tragedy, which involves not just the ASEAN countries, mainly from China and Australia has been very helpful to us all this while, and also the other supporting countries who has contributed so much in the SAR, Search and Rescue Mission. So perhaps something to be learned from there.
Yes, there has to be a lot of cooperation. We've got to work out a framework for cooperation. We need to work out the attempts at resettling some of these refugees. Malaysia as a country alone cannot cope with the huge refugee inflow. There needs to be other countries that might be prepared to take some of these refugees and resettle them in other countries as well. So a form of a cooperative framework is necessary.
Another meeting is also happening this month, which is the ASEAN Economic Forum at the end of this month. That meeting, along with this meeting, is a part of a series of meetings geared towards the ASEAN Summit, which will be held in November and December, and also preparing for the ASEAN Community, which will be launched or executed by the end of this year. So, how do you see the progress so far? And also, Malaysia being the chairman of ASEAN this year, how have we performed so far, Tan Sri?
Yeah, the roadmap towards ASEAN Economic Community is moving along very well. So far, almost 90% of the targets to achieve the AEC has already been realized. And I think Malaysia, as the chair for ASEAN, is slowly pushing forward the ASEAN Economic Community realization. I'm quite confident by the end of the year we should be able to declare that we have successfully achieved the ASEAN Economic Community. There are a number of challenges that needs to be faced. One is the non-tariff barriers or non-tariff measures, which needs to be reduced or eliminated. Then we have got to ensure that the SME sector, small medium enterprises, are able to cope with the economic integration, and that the small business have a role in ASEAN. There is a feeling that ASEAN is only for governments and for big business, but I think we need to engage with smaller companies, the SMEs, to also realize that they have a future in ASEAN.
Thank you very much, Tan Sri, for being with us. Tan Sri Dato Dr. Micheal Yeoh, yang merupakan Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif ASLI, yang baru sahaja memberi kepuasan mengenai apa yang berlangsung di PWTC dan beberapa jangkaan juga tentang persediaan kita dan juga mungkin performance ataupun prestasi dalam siri mesyuarat yang berlangsung sejak dari awal tahun ini sehinggalah kepada sekarang, dan juga membawa kepada beberapa lagi mesyuarat yang juga akan dipengerusikan oleh Malaysia sebelum hujung tahun nanti, dan mengimbas kembali sejak 1 Ogos yang lalu sehingga hari ini mesyuarat telah pun berlangsung dengan lancar sekali. Dan hari Selasa yang lalu, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Najib juga telah pun merasmikan mesyuarat Menteri-Menteri Luar ASEAN ke-48 dengan penekanan kepada beberapa isu yang paling penting sekali, khususnya dalam hubungan luar bagi negara-negara anggota ASEAN sendiri, juga melibatkan rakan-rakan dialog dan juga pemerhati-pemerhati yang hadir pada kali ini. Jadi kepada anda semua, terima kasih kerana mengikuti liputan yang saya bawakan dari PWTC.